Did you swallow your gum?
No.
I'm feeling really excited.
A little anxious.
I don't want to leave anybody out.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, there's nothing I want to do more than express my opinion about geography.
So I'm going to hand you this map.
So,
I'm sorry, do you want me to draw like a border or just like shade it in?
Northern Colorado.
Which part's the north? This part?
Well, definitely Fort Collins is in there, and Loveland, and Greeley, and Windsor, and Timnath.
Northern Colorado is this part.
I guess I'll go like this. And Fort Morgan is there on the edge. I would say like Brighton is in between, right? So it's part of Northern Colorado, but at the same time, it's like more Denver.
I'm drawing a border in between Loveland and Boulder, just because sometimes I feel like Boulder's got a little more of that big city mentality.
Some little towns like Dracono and Frederick are not in Northern Colorado, but others, say over in here, like Berthoud, definitely are.
this is where KUNC is, so we're gonna just write KUNC.
My dad is a truck driver, and he one of his routes is from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs and then over to Greeley.
I do think that Boulder is part of Northern Colorado, and it is north of Denver. So for me, like that entire area would fit. And then I guess just I would include that part north where it's like kind of Brighton, kind of Commerce City, Fort Lupton as well.
Estes isn't on the map, but I'm drawing it to include Estes because I feel like Estes Park is part of Northern Colorado.
And now it gets a little vague because the people who live out this way don't know where they live.
Here.
Oh, should I shade it?
And then it goes all the way up to the Wyoming border just because it's the north of Colorado. But it's not North Colorado. That's a different thing.
To me, that is NOCO.
Why?
Because we all talk to each other and work together.
What isn't Northern Colorado?
This.
Down here, there simply is a boulder, golden kind of area which we can't define as Colorado. And too much is going on down here. This area here, it just is its own thing.
To me, Boulder's more a part of Denver, and Fort Morgan's out there in the eastern plains. Well, Steamboat's way up there.
So my name is Elizabeth Garner, and I'm the state demographer for Colorado.
So, these are our Northern Colorado drawings, and I'm wondering what your initial thoughts are.
They're at least kind of looking north. This one, like specifically, shows kind of this area of Larimer and Weld. There's a couple of folks that kind of, it looks like created, and I think is it the 40th parallel? And this other one also kind of wrote that in. This one's also an interesting depiction. It definitely goes a lot further east if they are saying that Northern Colorado's red. I think this one is, would parallel what a lot of people think and kind of how we take into account, assuming that you've got Larimer and Weld. This one's funny in terms of it stops before you hit Wyoming. And it's like, so what would that area be called? And this one, I have no idea. So I think just because I like detail, I probably like this one the most because it was pretty clear and, tried to define outside and inside and, definitely highlighted where is Routt County with Steamboat Springs? Where is Boulder County in terms of with Boulder? And, you know, I like details. So this is the way that we define northern Colorado, and it is strictly based on county boundaries. You know, and I know a lot of people are much more interested in cities than they are in counties, but counties have the best level of data. And so that's how we have always worked with what we call Region 2, northern Colorado, is Larimer and Weld. You know, I think for us, the biggest takeaway is that language and verbiage is really, really important, because when I say northern Colorado, I know exactly what I'm talking about because I am thinking in my head Larimer and Weld. But knowing that other people define it differently or might think about it differently, I think is really important for our office to be aware that, you know, maybe, you know, there isn't a clear definition in most people's heads, and that it's something that we could easily spend more time talking about or thinking about when we say things. So for me, it's been a good lesson, you know, in terms of thinking about, you know, what is it? And it's maybe different for other people than it is for our office.
Scoot it over here.